Welcome back, crew, to Boats vs. Haulover, where man and machine take on Mother Nature down at Haulover Inlet in Miami, Florida. Today is going to be an interesting one. We've got some really rough seas. Captains are absolutely going to struggle trying to battle the inlet today, but let's get ready to get our competition rolling and we'll see how our captains fare. Here we can see this crew's having a rough go of it with the heavy following seas behind them, but they are able to successfully get themselves safely in. Hopefully the rest of our captains have the same luck. And here we go, round one, let's get this thing started. Our crew's making their way out. Cap's got the throttle opened up, keeping the boat just barely on plane to get a little air. They wind up smacking down hard. Cap has to back off the throttle, and man, Haulover winds up showing this crew a good time. Now in the end, Captain and crew wind up making it out of Haulover pretty safely, but the reality is Haulover completely threw them off their game. Cap left the inlet, that throttle opened up, had to back off immediately, take their licks to get out, and unfortunately in this one I'm going to wind up giving Haulover the win in the first round. And of course that will bring us to the second round of our competition with Haulover up 1-0, and here we go, Whaler Gang stepping in the ring to try and do battle with the inlet. Now our crew is coming out in a pretty small whaler on a pretty rough day. Let's see how they fare as they try and tackle Haulover. And the crew looks pretty solid so far. They found their pace that's good for them with this boat. And the crew looks like they're going to wind up making it out without issue, which is pretty impressive on a day like today. And they'll wind up taking a win for the boats here in the second round. And here in the third round of our competition, we're going to have a pursuit stepping in the ring to see if it can get the edge for the boats and get ahead of the inlet. And this crew, they're heading out, they've got a great line. They're hugging the north side of the inlet, which is a great move. Stay out of the middle, which is typically the roughest path. Cap opens up the throttle. Oh man, they wind up sneaking right out the north corner of the inlet without issue. They get through the first few rollers here. Cap says forget it, lays into the throttles, winds up cutting the corner and just sneaking out unharmed. And this crew's gonna wind up taking a win for the boats in the third round. And that's gonna give the boats a 2-1 edge as we move into the fourth round of the contest. And here we go, we've got one of those European style boats coming in toward the inlet. The crew looks pretty solid. Oh man, they wind up getting absolutely drenched as they're trying to make their way in. We do have a pretty heavy following sea, but this crew, they're just cutting right into the back of the waves, and again, the entire front of the boat just winds up taking that spray. And I'll tell you what, if I had spent as much on a boat as this crew spent on this boat, and I was getting absolutely soaked as I came back into Haulover, I'd be a little disappointed. And speaking of disappointed, they're probably going to be disappointed to hear for that fact that I'm going to go ahead and give Haulover the win as this crew winds up soaked coming in. And that's going to bring us to the fifth and final round of our competition, tied at 2 apiece. Who will take the win in this episode? Will it be the boats or Haulover? Let's go. And our crew's going to start coming out. And let's see who can take the victory in this episode. Our crew's going to have a rough go of it. Haulover is throwing everything it's got at this boat. And no! They wind up stuffing the bow. It's a light stuffing, but I saw water come over the front. And we don't necessarily rate the stuffings. The rule is if you stuff it, you take the L. And unfortunately, this crew is going to wind up taking a loss in the fifth round, and Haulover is going to claim the victory in this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Boats vs. Haulover. If you did, please check out our other content. We have Wavy Boats, who does a bunch of great things down at Haulover Inlet. My channel, Broncos Guru, does some great comedy boating videos as well. Of course, we've also got the Drain Plug Mafia channel that shows all the Guggen moments on the water. And then we've got Miami Boat Ramps, all the hilarity that happens at the boat ramps in South Florida. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.